Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us in what is today a very lovely, beautiful, sunny day in London. I hope you're having a lovely day where you're joining us from. I hope also that you're as excited to be joining Brunel as we are to be welcoming you here. In today's webinar, I'm going to talk you through some information that's going to be essential to your pre-departure. That's going to include our airport welcome service, how it works, the International Orientation Programme, the information that you'll get there, and Welcome Week, why it's so important for you to join. Throughout the presentation, if you have any questions, please do type those in the chat box and we'll answer those at the end. So the airport welcome service will be open for booking on the 2nd of August 2021. This service offers you a free taxi to the Brunel University campus from Heathrow Airport. The service will run for arrivals between Monday the 30th of August to Sunday the 31st of October 2021. If your arrival does fall outside of these dates or you're arriving to a different airport, you will need to make your own arrangements to travel to the university. Your private taxi can accommodate up to 2 large cases and 2 small cabin bags. If you do exceed your luggage allowance or you're travelling with extra passengers, additional charges may apply that will not be covered by the university. The service will be operating from Heathrow to Brunel only. So as I said before, if you are travelling from another location, you'll have to make your own arrangements, but you can visit the Finding Us page on the Brunel website to help you with information on travelling by public transport. In order to book the service, you will need to know your confirmed flight details. This includes your flight number, your date and time of your arrival. Currently, if you have travelled from or through a red list country in the 10 days prior to arriving in the UK, you will have to quarantine in a government managed hotel. At the end of the quarantine period, you'll be transported to the airport you were collected from. If this is a Heathrow Airport, you can also use the airport welcome service to bring you to campus after your quarantine period. When booking the airport welcome service, make sure that you select the date that you will be ending your quarantine. That's the date that you'll be dropped back at Heathrow Airport, not the date of your initial arrival in the UK. To help with your travel plans, the university will be refunding the cost of the managed quarantine hotel and test package for all new and returning students in September. The cost of the hotel quarantine and test package is £1,750. You'll need to make this payment prior to arriving in the UK and starting your quarantine. Once you join us in September, you will be able to complete a form online to request a reimbursement of the quarantine package amount. The application form will be available from the 1st of September, and early applications will not be considered. Further details will be available shortly, and at the end of this webinar, you'll see the web page that you can go to for updates. If you are traveling through a country that requires you to quarantine on your arrival, we recommend that you arrive in the UK by the 1st of September. This will allow you to complete your quarantine period as soon as you arrive at Brunel, so that you can complete it in time to join our transition and welcome week activities. In supporting you in your transition to university life, we'll be running a week-long program on campus, covering subject-specific study skill sessions and talks on student life. Our transition week will run from the 20th to the 24th of September, well in advance of Welcome Week, and is a great opportunity for you to meet and work with other new students, as well as getting to know what life is like on campus. You can visit the Get You Ready Transition Week page now for sample lectures, study skill sessions, and workshops focused on building your skills and confidence and inspiring you to feel confident about your future career. You can go through each section at a time or have a look at the ones that interest you the most. Part of the Get You Ready Transition Week will also include your International Orientation online program. This program gives you essential advice and guidance to help you start successfully at Brunel, including studying online, health and well-being, culture shock, Tier 4 student visa responsibilities, banking in the UK, non-academic life at Brunel, networking and making friends. As part of the International Orientation Programme, we'll also have a team of knowledgeable welcome guides available to help you to meet new staff and students and familiarise yourself with the campus and local area. Your Welcome Week will take place from Monday the 27th to Friday the 1st of October. We'll be hosting a range of activities during the week, which will help you to get to know more about your course, your teaching team, and allow you to meet the people that you will be studying with. Welcome Week is designed to give you the best possible start to your time at Brunel. You will receive a course-specific timetable listing the important sessions and events which are relevant to you. We would encourage you to attend all events to ensure you don't miss out on vital information for your course. But Welcome Week isn't all about just academic studies and meeting your staff and your course group. There'll always also be a variety of activities to help us to get to know you and allow you to get to know your fellow colleagues at Brunel. Welcome guides will be there to provide guidance. There will be a variety of events and entertainment activities, virtual meet and greets with student service, and also an on-campus Meet the Chaplaincy team event. I'm now going to tell you a little bit about some of the services that will be here to support you on your arrival. Your first point of contact for a wide range of administrative inquiries and support services is your Student Centre. They are here to help you through your student journey from registration right through to graduation. In the Student Centre, you will find a team of Student Centre advisors who can help you with queries about fees, funding, your student record, your ID pass, parking, and more. You will also find in the Student Centre a team of immigration advisors who are there to give you advice and guidance in regards to your student visa. And finally, in the Student Centre is the Student Support and Welfare team. The Student Support and Welfare team are there to help arrange appointments for any student with the Student Wellbeing departments. They provide international student support on a one-to-one basis, budgeting and money guidance, support for any welfare or wellbeing issues, and they promote good physical, mental, and financial health on campus through their Well at Brunel and Brunel campaigns. Within our student wellbeing team, you will find disability advisors who are there to support any student that might have a disability or a medical condition. They can recommend reasonable adjustments to help support your study. And there is also an assistive technology centre available that contains a wide range of ergonomic and assistive technology to support a student with their disability. We also have a team of counselling and mental wellbeing who provide mental health advice, individual counselling on a one-to-one basis, and student support groups such as managing your exam stress and managing procrastination. Our chaplaincy team will also be available, and they are there to provide advice and guidance and a listening ear to those of faith or no faith. You will find our chaplaincy team in the meeting house where there will be a prayer space, quiet room, and kitchen facilities. These are just some of the services that will be available to support you on your arrival at Brunel. If you have any questions, please do type those into the chat box now and we'll answer those as we go along. If you require more information, you can visit the brunel.ac.uk/study/2021-changes/international-students. On this page, you will find updates in regards to the refunded quarantine package, as well as advice on how your teaching will look when you arrive in September, your student experience, safety on campus, and more. We'll now take the time to answer some of your questions.
We're getting quite a few questions on the quarantine package. So I don't know, Jelisha and Martin, maybe you can both help with these questions. I've got one from Akash about I've booked accommodation elsewhere, but will I get services of Brunel like quarantine? I'm guessing that he's booked a hotel. So I know you spoke a little bit about the hotel earlier, Jelisha. Could you sort of just go back to that question, that slide again, maybe?
Of course I can. So, if you are staying in a government managed hotel for your quarantine period, the cost of the quarantine package includes your stay in the hotel, your travel to the hotel and back to the airport, food throughout your stay, and the tests that you're required to take during your quarantine period. Excuse me. So, all of your services that you require during your quarantine will be included if you've booked and paid to stay in a government managed quarantine hotel. If you've booked Akash on other off campus accommodation, then it depends on where you are in terms of what services that you're able to access. You can obviously still use any student support and well-being services remotely, but for more practical things such as food delivery during your quarantine period, or accessing your learning whilst you're unable to attend or join in activities, you can visit the COVID-19 support pages on the Brunel webpage. They'll advise you there what's available and what you can access to help you.
So I got another question about quarantine again. It says, will you get a refund for the 10-day quarantine if you don't stay in the hotel? Now, if you come from a red list country, then you will need to stay in a hotel. But we do reimburse for amber countries if you need to pay for the PCR test. I will put the website up on the chat in a minute. Got another question about quarantine. Oh, I've lost it. Wait 1 second. I'll arrive to the UK on August 27th from an amber listed country. I've already reserved an Airbnb near to the airport. I won't be able to leave the flat for the quarantine period. Is there any way I can access to food and supplies during the period without leaving the flat? That's from Aldo. I don't know if Martin or Jaleesh can just talk about online
Yeah,
deliveries. And
yeah, there is a variety of services in the UK that offer delivery of food to your door. So on the Brunel COVID-19 support pages, there is support information for those staying off campus, which includes some of those services that you can use. In order to purchase off those services, you will be required to have some sort of form of online payment usually, so a debit card of some sort. Some services do accept cash payments, but you'd need to make sure you have some UK money on you on your arrival also. But the best thing to do would be to visit that COVID-19 support pages, and you can find out what services are that are available and have a look to see sort of what they offer and what they would need from you to use them during your quarantine.
I've also got a question about any advice about student health insurance. Do you know about that? Can you answer that?
Not health insurance specifically, but if you paid the NHS surcharge as part of your visa application, that means you'd be able to access NHS services during the period of your student visa. So if you've paid that surcharge, you'll be able to register with a GP and use the GP services. That's your doctor. If you feel unwell or if you require medical advice or guidance whilst you're here.
I've got another question, and I think it was on your earlier slide as well. I won't be able to arrive in September the 1st. What's the latest day of arrival? I think the latest day for airport pickup was in October. I don't know if you can go back to that as well. Sorry, Jaleisha.
Yeah, that's fine. So you can use the service up to the 31st of October. However, you need to make sure you arrive in time for your registration period. So the university will contact you to let you know the deadline for you to register at the university. And that would be, I think that's the week before the airport welcome closes. So you need to make sure you arrive in time to register.
I've got a question. I don't know, Martin, if you'd be able to help with this. Besides a Tier 4 visa, what documents do we need to bring with us to the UK for registration for postgraduate students?
So for registration, you should have the option to upload most of the documents anyway, because it'll be online registration. So I think from that, based on that online registration, you can bring those documents. So it might be, for example, obviously you need to bring your passport, maybe your degree certificate, transcripts, maybe just have those just in case you need to physically present them as well. But all the registration will be done online, so you can just upload most of the documents.
Great, thank you. I've got questions. I think I've got a couple of questions again back to quarantine about parents accompanying when moving into Brunel. And there was another question about multiple people coming with them. I'm guessing that we will reimburse for the one hotel room, which will be the cost that we've stated in the presentation.
Yeah, that's right, Lisa. It would only be a reimbursement of the student who's traveling, the student who's arriving, their quarantine package. And in terms of people coming, family coming with to stay on campus, was that one of the questions?
Just coming on to Brunel,
Arriving with
so
them.
or coming with them to arrive. It didn't state whether they were actually staying
Okay,
at
yeah, so
Brunel.
if you're staying on campus, please do make sure to check with the accommodation centre if you're arriving with other people that are staying with you. If it's a quarantine managed hotel, everyone would have to book their own package separately or individually or as a group, so they would know who's arriving. Please do bear in mind the luggage allowance if you're travelling with extra members of family or extra baggage. Remember that there's an allowance of 2 large cases, 2 small cabins, and your bags and yourself. If you exceed the luggage allowance or you are traveling with extra passengers, additional charges may apply to you.
Sorry, more questions about quarantine. Got another question about, is it necessary to quarantine in government hotels? It will be necessary to quarantine if you're coming from a red list country to register for refund for PCR tests if you're coming from obviously the amber countries as well, and green. If either of you can answer that at the moment.
As it stands, the plan is to offer as much as possible on campus face to face, as long as we are safely able to do so. So the intention is to offer as much face to face teaching as possible. If you go to the Brunel webpage, there is a tab that says what we're doing for teaching and learning.
Yeah, if you can go on to that web page, then that will have all the information. And as Jelisha said, we'll do our best to have as many face-to-face, but also if you can't arrive in the UK, then there will be the opportunity to start your course wherever you are in the world. I think up until April next year you can arrive, and that's the guidance at the moment. I don't know if there's anything to add, Martin, to that.
No, I think that's, yeah, pretty much sums it up. And I think all the departments as well are still sort of confirming for their courses exactly how they'll be delivering teaching as well. But yeah, if you just go onto that link that you mentioned, it'll have more information as well.
I've got a question about the best way to open a bank account in the UK. I don't know if you can speak about that.
I can speak a bit briefly about that. That information, there is a section in the International Orientation Programme online that will cover opening a bank account and also obtaining a UK mobile phone number. But there are a variety of banks for you to choose from in the UK and online banking services as well. Which bank you choose is going to be dependent on what you require from that service. Um, in the orientation program, it will outline some of the things for you to consider, such as security, banking security. But to open a bank account, you may also require a letter confirming that you're studying at Brunel, which you will be able to access on your eVision page once you've enrolled. You'll have to make an application to open the bank account, with that provider, and then provide the documentation that they request, such as your visa confirmation or your student letter.
And we're getting quite a few questions about how the course will be studied. So I'm just going to put a link to the dual delivery page. So we will be flexible with online learning. So some lectures will be online, and some of the practical activities, seminars and group work, and we're hoping will be face-to-face. But as I said before, we will try and make sure that you can continue or start your studies wherever you are. So I'm just putting the link on now. Another question about quarantine. Is it possible to get picked up from the government quarantine after 10 days? Jelisha, I think you mentioned about going back to Heathrow Airport and then getting the airport pickup. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So I believe the government managed hotel package includes your cost of travel from the airport to your quarantine hotel. And then at the end of your quarantine, they do transport you back to the hotel, to the airport you were collected from. So long as that airport was Heathrow Airport, you can book the airport welcome service to pick you up from Heathrow. And again, as long as it's within the time that the service is available, so up until the 31st of October.
I've got a question on how do I book my the government hotel?
You can go to the if you search for travel into the UK, you'll find the government webpage. There are links also. If you go to this webpage that's on the screen now, there is a link that takes you to the government website, where you can find guidance on travel into the UK, where you're from and what will be required from you in terms of quarantine. That will also take you to the booking page for either booking your quarantine managed hotel or your PCR test packaging, depending on what country you're traveling from. So if you visit this link on your page, on the screen now, and look for the UK government website link.
Also on that link, once you go into the government website link, you'll also be able to find up-to-date information about whether your country is still on the red list when you decide to arrive in the UK. Got quite a few questions about if you still need to quarantine if you've had the double dose of the vaccine.
Currently, I believe that is the case. The best thing to do, as Lisa suggested, is to look at the government webpage, because that's going to be the most up-to-date information, depending on where you're traveling from. That will tell you what country, which list your country is on, and if you still need to quarantine.
Also getting questions about arrival to the UK, and obviously when Brunel activities are starting from the 27th of September. I believe that if you do need to quarantine for 10 days, and obviously you do want to be involved in Welcome Week, that you try and arrive obviously the 10 or 11 days prior to that.